So guys, there's been a lot of talk about Floyd Mayweather now fighting Kahbib Nurmagomedov. Obviously, when Kahbib beat Conor McGregor, there was talk that Floyd and Kahbib could get it on. Leonard Ellaby, you saw a video with Leonard Ellaby and Floyd Mayweather. Leonard Ellaby and Kahbib, talking to each other. And there was, ever since then, Floyd said that he was considering fighting Kahbib. And to be honest, it wouldn't shock me if the fight happens. But Dana White has insisted that the fight only happens if Floyd fights in the UFC. And let's be real, Floyd is not going to fight Kahbib in the UFC. Floyd is not going to do that. I do think if that fight happens, I think that fight would have to happen in a boxing ring. And listen, although I do think Dana White's saying now that Floyd has to come to the UFC, I think as soon as the numbers get piled up, right? As soon as the numbers get piled up, I think Dana White would have to give him, because it's like you're stopping one of your fighters making ridiculous amounts of money. But here's what Dana White probably wouldn't like. He knows deep down, and he knew it with Conor McGregor, that his guy had no chance of beating Floyd Mayweather in a boxing ring. He had no chance. Dana White knows that. Dana White knows Kahbib cannot beat Mayweather in a boxing ring. He knows that. He knows he has literally zero chance. So it's like you're putting one of your top guys just to go in there and get slaughtered. Yeah, he'll become a bit more famous, but Khabib's already made a big name. These guys, Kahbib and Conor, they've made a huge name for themselves. They're very well known. Look at their social media followings. They're very big stars. So why do they need to go and get their butt kicked in, right? For no reason, because they're not boxers. He's going to get beat really badly. He's going to get stopped, just like Conor McGregor did. Probably even quicker, because Khabib's not known for being a striker at all. He's he's a wrestler. So the chances are Floyd's going to take him out very quickly, like he did with a Japanese kickboxer. So it doesn't make any sense for Dana White. So you can see why Dana White is saying if Floyd wants to fight Kahbib, he needs to fight him in the UFC. Because I think Dana White is probably thinking, why should I just give up my guys and let them go and get slaughtered and put them in a boxing ring when they have no chance? And Dana White's not stupid. He knows that Kahbib has no chance of beating Floyd Mayweather in a boxing ring. Just like he knows that Mayweather has no chance of beating Kahbib in the octagon. So Dana White's not stupid. And Dana White even said he didn't want the Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather fight to happen. Obviously, with that fight, then the money talks. So in the end, the money that was going to be generated was so much that it benefited Dana White, right, to put him in there and make a huge load of money himself. But he's probably got to the point where some of these guys, listen, they're making a lot of money. They already made a lot of money. It's not all about money. They don't want to damage their brand. They don't want to damage the UFC. And they feel like it gets to a point where obviously you're just putting your guys in there to get beat up. And, although Kahbib might not mind it because Kahbib will get a huge payday, Dana White might not be all for it, because Dana White's not somebody that needs money. He's got a lot of money. So, another 50, 60 million won't hurt, but at the end of the day, he's probably thinking that there's more. He wants to keep building up Kahbib rather than put him in there, and he knows that he's going to get beat. Because the other thing is, like, look at Conor McGregor. He came back and fought Kahbib. He's never been an active fighter in the UFC since that Mayweather fight, right? He only fought once. Right, and it has to be something really big. And with Kahbib, obviously we know Khabib's suspended at the minute. He probably doesn't want Kahbib to go and earn ridiculous amounts of money against Mayweather and then not come back and fight. Like, he wants these guys to be fighting in the UFC in order to build up the UFC, because after Kahbib beating Conor McGregor, Khabib's name is now there as well in the UFC. Whenever he fights, there's going to be a lot of attention. He's going to do huge pay-per-view numbers. So He doesn't want his fighters to go and fight Mayweather, make a ridiculous amount of money, then not fight again in the UFC. He's all about fighting in the UFC. So I totally understand why, Dana White's not for Kahbib going and fighting. Firstly, I think he knows that, Kahbib loses. Secondly, I think he thinks that maybe Kahbib might make so much money where he might not want to fight in the UFC again, or it'd be like McGregor fight once now and then, which obviously he wants these guys to be fighting regularly because they're big names, they're big stars, and he wants them to continue to grow the name or to grow the sport of UFC, because these are the guys that are going to do it because of their names and their profile. By going into boxing and getting beat up, it doesn't do anything for the UFC. So yeah, guys, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.